Okay. So first up, we'll move to approve the abstract.
I'll second.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Right. We don't have any, the public hearings we have, will just continue next week, so we're not doing anything with those this week. For next week, it'll be continuation of 2150 Dryden Road. Have they put anything in since?
No, so I don't see it
Okay.
probably proceeding.
All right, and because if they don't put anything in, then we'll just, I guess, just close it and,
Yeah, if I can get a better read on it, if they're
Or-
still gonna answer the questions, we avoid having to re-advertise the hearing
yeah.
if we leave it open,
Okay,
continuing.
all right. And then 1400 Dryden Road, are they gonna keep going?
They haven't answered their issue yet either.
So, all right, so they'll just keep showing up as a maybe? Okay. All right, and I know that Rick called and said he's gonna try to get here or join on Zoom. So, Kim, so we'll wait for Rick, because he said he's gonna join
Okay,
or by Zoom or come here, so.
Okay.
But if we get through the other stuff before he does, then we'll just go right to you. Okay?
Wonderful, I appreciate you making time.
Yep. All right, so first up, we have a resolution authorization for prepayment of electronic.
Yeah, just a quick, comment on this, these resolutions are basically just giving the finance team permission to do some steps, so that we're in compliance with the state, you all know that what we're doing, because you don't see it every day. A lot of these are daily activities, so just so you know, that's what these next few resolutions are for. But we have them all separate, some of them will have to be renewed at the organizational meeting, just refresh them and make sure they're good.
Yeah. So it's right now, it's just this one for the prepayment / electronic payment.
Yeah, there's that one, that's basically just.
Oh, and then the transfer fund and
Yeah.
then DA, okay, so it's 7A, B, C, D,
Yeah.
E, all right. I just wanna share something. Yeah, and right now I'm just sharing the agenda so whoever's on Zoom can see what's coming up. But, the first resolution is gonna be 7A. Yeah, and this is the authorization for prepayment / electronic payment, so I will move this.
I'll second.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Alright, this next one is a general authorization for funds transfer between New York Class and the custodial bank. And these are two resolutions.
Yeah, so basically the first one is just moving money as we need it to maximize interest earnings in your class. So holding as much as we can in your class, moving usually once or twice a month, depending on the need. And then the second one's regarding, interest in the DA reserve to the reserve fund.
Right, so I'll move the first one for the general authorization for funds transfer between New York Class and custodial bank.
I'll second.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And excuse me, and then the next one is the transfer of DA, New York Class interest to DA equipment reserve.
And we budget this, but this is again, just making sure that it's completely aware of why we're doing what we're doing.
So, any questions?
Just reading.
Move it.
I'll second.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez?
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay. The next one is a drawdown number one for CDBG housing rehabilitation grant.
Again, this is just because when the money comes in, we have to put it out the door within 5 days.
I was just waiting for it to actually fully load so I can, so I can blow it up, because otherwise everyone's gonna have to squint to see it when they're on the screen at home. And they, so this invoice number one for Ithaca Neighborhood Housing for $24,960.97 for work completed on the Dryden Housing Rehabilitation Project through June 26th. So I'll move this.
Second.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. The next one is a resolution authorization for me to sign Yellow Barn right-of-way TRP application. This is for Dryden Fiber. And I'm gonna come up with a different resolution, but I'm gonna work with David on this, just so that, if things like this come up in the future, we can either have it delegated at the organizational meeting, or to either me or even to the executive director, so they can sign on behalf of the town. Because this is so we have authorization to use the right-of-way on Yellow Barn Road, which I wish we had the thing working over there. But there's on the screen, if you're at home, you guys can see it here too. There's a yellow line on Yellow Barn, and that's what we need to bury the fiber under.
I'll do that.
Second.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. The next one is a resolution to award the construction contract for the Varna Sanitary Sewer Improvements Contract B and Varna Water Improvements Contract C.
Do we do F, G, and H all separately?
Oh, sorry, I skipped that one. Sorry, I jumped ahead. F is the next one. It's the contract, the awarding a contract for the Norwood Drive Stream Bank Stabilization Project.
Good news.
I'm just waiting for it to load. Okay, there we go. So this is a recommendation from T.G. Miller. This was bid out. The successful bidder is JB Excavation Service of Appalachian. Base bid amount of $263,914, and alternate for stream bank stabilization number 6 of $48,000. It just explains what they did in their review, which was review them for accuracy. Low bidder had to complete a bidder's qualification statement. They had to verify the surety company, verify that they weren't on the New York State Agency Debarment list, that the Iranian energy sector divestment cert was signed and notarized. Didn't know that was a thing.
It is.
And then bidder acknowledge MBWE participation requirements. So so the total contract amount is $311,914.
And this is part of the DEC grant that Rick has.
Yeah.
It's a 75-25, that actually expires in the fall, so we can finish this project.
Do we know if Rick feels comfortable with this company and knows that they're legit?
I believe so. T.G. Miller was pretty confident in them.
Okay.
And they go through a recommendation, like, and then T.G. Miller reaches out, I believe, to Grier projects.
twice this amount. So,
And they're ready to start, so it's
yeah. So move that we, let's see if there's an actual
No,
resolution attached.
I don't think so.
One scrolling through that's showing up on the screen is just all the supporting documentation for the bids.
This gentleman here lives near Knollwood and was interested.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I live.
Oh, okay, good. Glad somebody's here to see this.
Yeah, well,
We don't always have
I printed this packet.
folks,
I printed this packet if you want to give it to him.
yeah, if you want
Do you
to.
want a copy of this?
I'm not sure.
What it is their bid packet and
I think he was
tabulation.
the
and-
set of the plans and what they're,
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
it's in
just
there. It's gonna have
the-
all that in there.
I keep this or?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright, cool. So I move that we accept the bid as recommended, Jabe.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Alright, now we can get to the Varna improvement, sorry about that. This is so next recommendation of award is for the, it's for G. De Vicentis and Son Construction out of Binghamton. Total bid amount of $2,777,000 for both the sanitary sewer and water improvement projects, so we'll do both. There's just two different contracts, B and C. B is for sewer, C is water. Again, it just lists with all the same types of bid requirements I said for the previous one, all the same certifications they had to go through. Except they don't list the Irradiant Energy one, so
Why not?
maybe water pipes and stuff are allowed to use Irradiant Energy.
No.
No? No, it's just not in the letter. So, we're trying to keep it a little entertaining.
I know.
Accent on the
We
little.
should have something more controversial here so we can pick or something.
It's in the materials one.
Yeah, it's not in this, it's just not listed in the letter, so maybe just, yeah, just left that line out. But again, all the documents attached, they're all available online too, so they can be downloaded and looked at by whoever wants to see them. So I'll move that we accept the recommendation from T.G. Miller.
I'll second.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Right, and then the next one is the award for the material contract for this project. And this one will be to Corin Main LP of St. Louis. They have offices in Binghamton. Total base bid amount of $995,459.10. It all adds up.
That's the 10 cents.
So again, separated into contract B and C sewer, so it's $93,767 for sewer and $901,691.80 for the water portion of it. these are. The list of materials is, if you're scrolling through, it's gonna come up page 7 on the PDF. And it's just a list of pipes and gaskets and that kind of thing. So I'll move this. To move that we accept the bid as recommended by T.G. Miller.
Councilperson Vargas Mendez.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. And then, this last thing, I think anyway, just basically, I think I forwarded you all an email we got from one of these companies. They're basically law firms that look around to do audits of cable franchise agreements for towns.
We don't
We
have
still
one.
actually have something that's ancient and hasn't really, it just gets auto-renewed by Public Service Commission. It's based on the basic cable price, not all the expanded goodies that they add on to everything. I don't know that we get much of anything, I just know that if they do find, and they gave a list of all the, different towns about what they recovered for them, but I know that what ends up happening is they just make all the users pay for it anyway. So, and we don't, they get paid out of whatever they find for, so if it's something you're interested in, I'll let them know we'll do it. If it's not, then I'll just say no.
It seems like it's a little early. I mean, we've been around, do we have enough customers that we need an audit yet?
It's not for fiber.
It's not for fiber, it's for Spectrum, so it'll go all the way back for probably, I don't even actually know how many years, but probably at least, I would guess at least 10, just to see if they've been paying us the amount they should based on the amount of subscribers.
Does it add a lot of work for the team?
I think we'd have to, I don't actually know what they'd have to have you do, but I mean, really, it's more about getting into the books of Spectrum Charter at this point.
Yeah.
They just know what we've been paid, and then, look at what the contract will say, what franchise will say what they're supposed to pay us for, and then they just figure out if they were accurate with the numbers.
And for charter, I believe I get one check a year, like they do
Yeah.
a whole year, so it's really, we get one big payment a year, and
And it's somewhere around,
26,000, something right around there.
I don't think it's changed, it goes up and down a tiny bit year to year.
I think it's been going down actually the past couple of years, I think it's people are
Yeah.
starting to cut. But that's just, I've only been kind of eyeballing it the past few years, so.
So, I don't.
So let me get this straight. You're responding to a solicitation.
Yeah, we've got them like every other year from
And
these companies.
some
We
company
just haven't-
says, hire us or allow us in, we'll discover waste, fraud, and abuse and give you a slice if we find it.
Mhm. So we'll maybe get something, maybe get nothing, who knows?
Seems like we'd need a reference or something about this company.
Yeah,
Well, they
give
list
them
towns
lunch.
that they've worked
Yeah,
for, we
we're
can
running out
call
of
them.
time here. What were you?
They do list the towns that they've worked for, so we could
Yeah.
call.
Yeah, it's in here.
Oh, it's in here.
Yeah,
Like they've done city, but they've already done.
I mean, the,
They did a lot of stuff. They read it. Vestal.
yeah, and some of the towns that have, like, say, larger amounts recovered probably had franchise agreements that covered more than just basic cable too. I just remember the franchise is based on the number, like the cost of the basic cable portion of their bill and nothing else, so.
They're bigger. Like, City of Buffalo is going to be bigger than.
Yeah, I mean, that, like, if someone gets basic now, so, actually, I don't know what it costs. It's,
Where is that? I'm not seeing this in the meeting document.
It's not.
it's not there.
It was in an email from yesterday.
Oh, it's in an email, okay.
Yeah.
from Cassie.
So if you want me to reach out to them and say yes, I'll do that. If not,
Yeah, I understand. And from what you can say, there's no downside to doing this.
well, I mean, what's gonna happen is when, if they find anything, Charter Spectrum will just bill every cable television subscriber a portion of that.
Maybe they can force them to do a new franchise agreement.
We can't even get the state to help us.
I know.
If they find something, they'll bill every subscriber, so how do we
The
come out?
cable company, so if they have to say, write a check to us for say, let's just, say $50,000.
Yeah,
They'll divide that 50,000 among every cable TV subscriber in town. So if you're just getting internet, I don't think you'll see anything, but if you're one of folks who get television as well, then you'll get a bill.
This isn't going to cost the customers anymore.
you just said it did.
It will.
Yeah, you just said.
That's how
It
that's how
will?
they have to, that's how they
I thought it's
recover.
recovery of stuff
They
that
were
we
supposed to
should
pay.
have.
Yeah, they
paid
should have paid
us.
us, right, but they, like every other
Mm.
business, then all they do is they make the subscribers pay. I mean, that's why years ago Mary Ann wouldn't do it, because after she talked about it, talked to people about it, that's what told her happened. So, and the only way they're gonna get paid is if we authorize it and then they would get the money, otherwise we'd end up paying them for an audit that we're not getting anything out of, so.
Yeah.
I'm with Mary Ann on this, I don't see why we do it then, if it's just going to raise the rates for
I mean, I can double check that to make sure it's still the case, that they're still, but my understanding is that's what happens. So, if they're not allowed to do that, then there's no downside, but I don't think there's anything stopping them from recovering it from the users.
Can we postpone decisions on this till
Yeah.
next week?
Yeah, that's fine.
I don't see the email from Cassie discussing this.
It says Troy and so.
Yeah, next week's fine. I'm not in any rush to get back to these people. They just keep emailing and emailing.
It says Troy and thanks. Yesterday, the 19th.
Okay.
Troy and thanks with the center.
Okay. All right, so we'll table it to next week.
Yeah,
In the meantime, I guess, Kim, if you want to just, if you could come up over here, so you can use the mic,
Sure, thank you.
and then, Rick, I guess he's running late, but you may as well.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm here mainly just because I want to spread awareness about an issue that's happening on Priest Road. I had reached out to both Rick and Dave Sprout by phone, and David called me yesterday, so I did have a conversation with David Sprout about the situation, and he said that he would talk to Rick as well, and I do understand, I've also talked to Bambi. I understand that the highway department has been on vacation and they're shorthanded and probably are swamped with work to do. But the issue that I'm here about are the drainage ditches at the property next door to me. And I should say, I'm Kim Klein, I live at 14 Priest Road. On the night of June 18th, there was really heavy rain. And the water coming off Mount Pleasant ended up reaching the ditch and flowing through the property at 10. And it landed in my backyard. And I noticed this, I think it was 7 or 7:30 at night. I was shocked how much water. The first thing I saw was the water in the backyard. It was like a pond. I mean, it was huge. And I thought it couldn't possibly be all that rain. And then I went into the basement, and of course, all that water was draining down, and it came right up through the bottom of the floor of my basement. So there was, it was shocking. There was so much water down there, and I've lived there for over 30 years, and I've never had anything like this happen. But basically, when I could get myself together the following day, I was up until 2 o'clock in the morning, sitting in a lawn chair, just monitoring. There was so much water flowing into my basement, and I had a pump going, and I had it attached to the ditch, right? So anyway, it was a big deal for me because I've never had that much water ever. I've had a damp basement, a little bit of moisture. 25 years ago, when I first moved in, I had a catch basin put in between my driveway and the garage because I do have water coming down the driveway trying to get in. The catch basin couldn't handle the water. When I finally the next day saw what was going on, do you guys have the photo as well?
Yep.
That's the picture of the ditch just above 10 Priest Road. And what happened is the vegetation was quite tall there and the water knocked it down and the water flowed where the gravel is. So the very dark part is where it should be going underneath the driveway. The driveway is right here where you don't see it. Can you kind of see where that is? So it came across the side yard of 10, through and around the house at 10, and it just landed, I'm right next door. So it did fill up the entire basement of 10 Priest Road. There are 2 tenants that live there, and they were displaced for a week while the water was pumped out, and, they had furnace, water heater, whatever. So luckily, it didn't wipe out my furnace and water heater. I have them on blocks. But it was still an expensive situation. I am gonna have my basement looked at now, actually, by a specialist out of Syracuse to see if there's some improvements that I can do down there. That's not really related to, what happened because of this water. Well, I guess it is in a way. I probably wouldn't be doing it if this hadn't happened. But my concern is just that every time it rains now, I'm scared to death. Because and it's not a very big ditch. I do understand that these guys are busy, but I just want to plead my case for putting this maybe up on a fairly high priority. I just want to be having another really, really high rain event come and do the same thing. Because it's been a lot to recuperate from that water. I know it's just affecting the 2 properties, but if you could have seen the amount of water in my backyard, I was shocked. And it's all the water coming off Mount Pleasant that usually goes under the driveways.
Yeah.
And so what I was noticing really is there are probably 2 issues, and I listed it in my letter. In the short term, it wouldn't take much to clean out that ditch, and there's no edge on it now, where the weeds have kind of fallen over. It's creating a path, and that's the path the water's now gonna follow, is, not where it should be going. And if it were just dug out a little bit, I think it could be corrected in the short term fairly easily. Obviously, in the long term, I think that the little pipe that goes underneath 10 Priest Road is a very small one in comparison to, like, the one under my driveway is quite large. It was updated 10 years ago or something. Most of the ditches, I think, on Priest Road are covered over, and these 2 ditches on either side of 10 Priest Road are both not covered over. So there's quite a lot of debris that's collected in them, gravel, and, that's preventing the water from flowing where it should flow. So that's my concern. I find that canceling plans if there's rain in the forecast, I don't want to be away from home, just I'm monitoring that. So anyway, I was hoping that the more people that knew, maybe we could try to come up with a plan and maybe get it done sooner than later. I know I'm asking a lot because I know the guys are really busy and I'm sure they're behind, but.
Yeah, Rick called me about this before the meeting.
Oh,
too.
he did?
Yeah,
So David talked to him.
Yeah, so he's aware. I think for the short term, they can clean it out.
That'd be great.
But I think the longer term fix might not come until, like, putting, like, say, new pipes or whatever might
I
not happen
realize.
until the work across this,
Sure.
because there's work that has to happen across the street. I think some of it, and it's the stuff that's on 366 is the DOT part of it, that the estate has to deal with that part, but the stuff that's on our road,
Right,
um,
okay,
so, and also because of the bridge work that's gonna happen,
right.
so,
I know there's a lot
There's a lot going on over there.
I know, I
But-
realize that.
but the long-term fix will come when those are closer to being
Okay,
completed.
I figured as much, and I thought maybe David had that on his radar, but just in the very short term, like, you know, if it had been a small amount of debris or anything that I could have done to
Yeah.
help it, I would have, but it clearly needs equipment. The one side is kind of non-existent, so.
Yeah.
I remember the night you're talking about because I was on Route 366 and they had to close one of the lanes of traffic because 366 went underwater. So. it
And a
was
lot of that water, if it
storm.
came down Freeze Road, it ended up in my backyard. And like I said, I was literally in shock for 3 days, I think, because I just have never dealt with anything like it all the time I've been there. I've had a little, you know, my share of moisture issues, because I have a cinder block foundation, but this was, it was flowing water in my basement. I was shocked, it just was, and it wouldn't stop coming, you know,
Yeah.
that was
It's
awful.
it's,
But you had a pump, luckily, it
Well-
sounds like.
I had my dad go down and get a pump. I've only ever had a catch basin, and that's all I've needed all these years. What I thought I had a sump pump in my basement, but it's an old pump to a well that used to exist before Dryden had water
Yeah.
hooked up, right? And it seized up a long time ago.
Mhm.
I thought it was a sump pump, and I had this specialist from Syracuse come down and take a look, and, you know, I was describing what happened, and I was worried my foundation could not handle another barrage of water like that again. And so they were looking at ways to kind of help secure what's there and upgrade. And he's the one that said, okay, this pump is seized up and it's an old pump to a well, it's not a sump pump. So anyway, I am getting ready to have some extra work done in the basement in terms of drainage and they're gonna be burying a pump in one of the back corners. I think my neighbor recommended these folks, cause Lori Snyder had it done in her basement 8 years ago. So I need the upgrades anyway, but I'm worried about that amount of water, once again, trying to come into my house. I don't think my house would withstand it very well. It was frightening, the force that the water was coming in.
It's incredible.
It is.
Yeah.
So, and I thought, well, if the ditch were just unplugged, I could probably sleep better at night.
yeah.
So, and, you know, I just appreciate your listening to me and your helping me with my concern. And if Rick has this on his radar, maybe can get it unplugged here.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if he sent anyone that way today yet, I know but, he'll do the short term.
Wonderful. I'm very grateful for the help. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
And I will let Rick know how much I appreciate it too. Thank
yeah,
you.
well, thank you, yeah, thanks for bringing it to our attention, sorry I had to go through that.
That's
Okay, and I forgot to record on this thing,
Oh, you're kidding.
I'm not kidding.
I almost got more, but I didn't hear it, and I'm like, yeah.
Well, I didn't hear it at first because that thing was there, and then I just realized that she was talking, I'm like, oh, it's recording pause still. Well, we have that one, thank God.
Yeah, I remembered to turn that on.
It's a short meeting, we just.
Recording in progress.
do it again.
Recording stopped.
So I don't know. I guess we'll have to upload that audio then, or something. I don't know how.
I
to
don't
do
know.
that, but there's a transcript it makes anyway, apparently.
You just have to check them very carefully because the AI
Yeah.
is not always accurate. It can be entertaining,
Really?
but
No. I
frustrating.
mean, this AI isn't perfect.
No.
It's not using Grok, is it?
Zoom.
What?
It's Zoom on AI, I don't think that would be the case.
Not Grok. I don't know. yeah, I think what we should do then is kind of outline more what the committee, like, tasks, you know, if we're gonna do it like that, we should probably make it more formal like some of the other ones. So we just like lay out like things that should, that, you know, the things that should be doing.
So the biggest issue that we have, well, is that we only have 2 community knowledgeable residents
Yeah.
in the community. And the rest of it is 2 from the town, right?
Mhm.
And Ray, and I think that's all what we have.
The planning board liaison.
Yeah, planning board liaison, which, by the way, is still not being nominated.
Wow.
So we, you know, we need a couple more people from the community, knowledgeable people,
Mhm.
in order for us to sort of being able, if there is a task force or there is to spread the responsibility, you know, the efforts within the community.
Mhm.
And the second thing is that the 2 members from the community are from the west side of the, you know, of the town. And so we would like to sort of diversify a little bit our community in that sense.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, so we can just put that, let's have a longer talk about it next week then, I guess, so, alright.
Have we had any update about that fire district study? That was a couple months
Did
ago,
they-
wasn't it?
Anything come back yet about the
We
grant?
have not heard anything
Some
back from the
conversation
grant.
about it.
On the study.
So, yeah, Amanda said we hadn't heard back about the grant yet.
That's weird, I thought we were like in the queue.
Yeah. And,
When I stopped to see the guy, I thought he said, oh yeah, you're on the list. We got all
Yeah.
excited.
I'm sure austerity's taken over the state budget.
and then other things, but we haven't heard decision back on the Aetna thing yet.
We get it till the end of the month.
The
court
Article
hasn't responded.
78, I don't think we have,
No,
There's
there's
no
not been
decision
one. I
yet.
made an inquiry yesterday about that.
and then as far and I asked Ray the other day about the bids for the pedestrian bridge, and we still haven't heard from DOT on that. And then I think we just gotta, I guess, talk about the DEC meeting we had about Dryden Lake. I think internally we gotta figure out what we're gonna, I know what we want, but it's just we gotta figure out how to get there.
Okay. I mean, doing nothing is an option. But I think it's something that we had talked about, making a proposal and perhaps getting the conservation board involved.
Yeah.
And accepting the fact that DEC is not coming in with money to rebuild the dam. And so,
Well, they don't have, they said they have $1 million, if we were able to get more out of the state, then I think they'd be able to do it.
So do we need a,
But they're, you know, they're just.
executive session on that next week or something to that effect?
I don't know if that goes to executive session,
I don't
that's not
think it really is an
personnel.
executive session then,
Okay.
but I think we need to just pick a path and then.
Well, we need to understand what the choices are and then.
They did
you
a
know,
study, and the study showed that the dam rehab would be over $3 million.
Yep.
They have committed $1 million and no more to the project, and that's the new information. So we've got a delta there that I don't think we're willing to put on the taxpayers.
Does it have to be the dollar amount that they are saying? Is there a cheaper option if we did our own design and construction?
We could do something less ambitious, but put in a berm that's not quite as high with $1 million, but make it, you know, rocks and maybe some reinforced steel, concrete,
Okay.
but not the high functioning adjustable dam that is is there right now with the, you know, what we could do is a bare bones kind of a berm with some spillover pipes that would allow water out at certain levels that the dam would not support if it were.
Yeah, so-
And so we could have something functional that would reduce the lake level, maintain the wildlife, might not have the footprint of the current lake. You'd lose probably 30% of the square footage. But the things that we care about, well, I mean, certain things would be preserved in terms of wildlife diversity and fishing.
And would the town need to absorb that property as its own rather than leave it as
Yeah,
DEC in order to
That
do
would,
that?
that,
They're more than willing to do that with us if we're willing to take it. You know, they would give us, you know, exchange it for $1 is what she said. And,
yeah, we have to talk, there's more, I think, a little bit more to it than,
There's more.
yeah, just not now. I think we gotta, for those of us who were there, need to sit down again and hash it out and then bring something to the board and the conservation board and the public.
yeah, I mean, I think the high level information needs to be shared with our colleagues here.
Yeah. So, all right.
Jason, can I
You
raise
said-
one small budget issue?
Yeah.
The planning board training budget of 1,500 was totally exhausted this year with, we had 4 members who wanted to do the Planning Federation Conference, so we have 0 in the training fund. Now for the next half of the year, there's these one-day trainings, and it'd be nice if members could take advantage of that, but there's nothing in the budget right now. I could do a budget mod every time somebody might call for a training, or if the board was comfortable, I could do a budget mod at the end of the year if there were several members that wanted to do one-day trainings for the remainder of the year. And then next year, I would probably put in a higher budget line than the 1,500 that we had this last year.
What kind of delta are you talking about?
What kind of,
Delta?
it would be $100 one-day trainings, and I could imagine 3 or 4 members would want to do this between now and December.
What's easiest for you?
Well, it's a, we're being recorded. It is advisable to at least approve, we can do a budget mod now that at least allows for, let's say, $300 to be moved from another budget line to the training line, so that way it can be used. And then at the end of the year, if we have any other differences, we can handle it then. It'd be easier to do one budget mod than to do 3 separate ones, so it'd just be the timing we have to talk about. So,
Well,
it's a matter of, like, as long as the board understands that that's coming, I think is what Ray and I discussed.
Yeah.
We need to just, is the board okay with increasing that? Because they did have four attend the planning conference, and they had to pay some of it out of pocket to go, so.
So if we say an additional $400 so that there's no odd person out unable to take advantage of a one-day training, if they do, they
Yeah, I mean,
do,
that's-
if they don't, they don't, does that seem reasonable?
I probably need to prepare some budget mods for everything, so, I mean, anything that's happened already, so we can add that in to, not because it's gone negative, but to provide the change. So we
Yeah.
can probably do that for August meeting, I probably need to have some ready, to review, I need to review financials for that.
yeah, well, let's do that.
Okay, all right, I'll add that to my, list for August.
Thank you.
Okay. All set? All right, can you adjourn?
Good.
Thanks.